And welcome to the School Building Committee. This is the Georgetown Middle High School project, Tuesday, April 12th, 2016. First on the agenda is to approve our minutes of March 8th, 2016.
So moved.
Second.
Does anyone have any discussion on the minutes? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'd like to approve the invoices in the amount of $110,426.51. Would anyone care to make a motion?
Second.
Give you
Anyone
some
have any?
background on a couple of the invoices if you can. Some of these are kind of old. Mike's going through the files, Mike from school district's going through them. These have all been budgeted and allotted for, but he's just finding some invoices from stuff that happened during the summer that he's cleaning up. So this isn't a lot of new work, this is older stuff. The stuff on here you see from, I'll just go through from MD Stetson, Howard Technology, Apple, and Brent Haven. This is all the technology you voted and approved at your last meeting after the school department made it. They've already bought that. So now that those have come in, they're paying for it. It's being installed in those rooms.
Okay.
And LD Russo's that's really what we're doing is we're paying them retainage from the punch list items. So this almost $34,000 leaves only about $13,000 left in retainage. And that's a pretty good number based on everything we've walked through. Like I said before, they are doing a really good job cleaning up the punch list. So we feel good. We don't have any real issues and any complaints with them and responding to calls from Mike or warranties. Mike had some problems with the building automation system that controls the heat in a whole bit. They responded remotely and they've been able to dial in and fix things and get those all done. So
Great.
and this one's closing out really nicely. So that's why we're with DRA and saying you should release the rest of this money.
Okay,
So
great.
that's where we're down. We're gonna hold the 13 until probably next month. And then you'll be 100% done with them.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions or any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great, motion carries. There you go. Send it that way. All right, Chuck, would you continue with an update for us?
Like I said, the punch list work there's minor stuff left to do. There's a piece of hardware on a door that needs to be done, an interior door for a mechanical closet. It locks, everything's working now. It's just, there's a piece missing from it. It's coming in if it's not been done already. I don't always hear when the stuff's been in because we're not there full time. But Mike's very good in calling me. And we're gonna look at the flooring that Peter and Jeff, I think, mentioned last month, or maybe it was just Peter mentioned it. We're gonna look at that gym floor, those boards next week when everybody's up here. Like I said, the roofer will be up here to do some very minor roof repairs that are not causing a leak. They just showed up on an infrared scan. So that's good. So there'll also be, I think, the painter's coming up for 2 small items and the flooring subs coming up for two or three small items. So they could, if they really got up here next week, and that's their motivation, get up here next week and wrap it all
Be
up.
done.
Take care of it.
You said you
Those
found a
things.
couple of little things in the band room. That'll all be part of the,
And the noise at the band room's all set.
no, we're gonna talk about that
No,
next.
So that's all I had. So if you want to go right
Okay,
to that, we're all
great.
set. Thank you, George.
So we've been working with Mike Anderson on the band roof issues. Some of it is caused by pipe penetrations that are going through the existing concrete slab. Things we didn't see above ceiling that they're always there, and now we're finding all these holes in the concrete slab that's helping to, let the sound go up into the floor above. So Mike Anderson's been stuffing that with insulation. We've been speaking with our acoustic consultant, and so that acoustic insulation will be going in along with the sealant. And after that, we'll bring in our acoustic engineers, and they're going to do some decibel, sound testing. So they'll put a machine in the chorus room. They'll take decibel readings in the surrounding rooms, and we'll get some just major fact information about this is acceptable range, this is not acceptable range. And then they're gonna make recommendations of what to do. And we'll probably have a few different options that we'll present to the committee, and they'll probably vary in cost. But we're fairly restricted in terms of height. So I know that you could put a drop ceiling in there. It would be extremely tight. You may make the 6'8", you may not. There's some areas with pipes that would kind of cause a problem there. So we wouldn't recommend necessarily a drop ceiling, but we'll work with Ascentec. We'll have them come in and make some recommendations for the next meeting.
Is that ceiling like either squares or does it
go like this above?
It's kind of like a coffer, and you'll
So
have the
could you put a
beams.
suspended ceiling in between?
You could put a suspended ceiling, but probably they'd recommend a different type of material that's a little either
sound
more
absorbing.
Yeah, the
thicker
sound
panel.
absorbing, but in
Um,
between, and then it wouldn't be lower, it would be in between the two.
Right, we could work with up in that.
There's some
structure.
areas though where there's lights hanging down inside there, so
Yeah, there's a
it's,
lot of
there's gonna be some
obstructions.
trickiness.
I asked if they could actually do it from the classroom above and elevate the floor up there to create some space as a sound buffer. And Courtney
the-
said you just
They-
don't know
they
till they
may-
come in and see.
They may feel like they want to
Yeah,
reflect the
have
sound
a
back
curb, they
down.
have to
They may
ramp
feel
and-
like the sound is coming through the slab directly. I'm
It's
not.
really mass.
Yeah.
Mass is what kills this
Yeah.
sound down,
Yeah.
besides the vibration, if you
And-
separate vibration. But a lot of times this insulation isn't all that good because it's just really dead airspace and it just allows it
Right.
to keep
Right.
going through. So
The
air-
sealant
air
will
is the
help
hard part.
slightly at those penetrations, but it won't totally get rid of it.
Yeah.
I heard that the classrooms above that, their grades are better now.
They beat into a different drum. Well, I've told you all, my classroom's above the band. I just honestly don't think there is anything they could do that could help.
Well, this is just the chorus, it's not the band. It's
Right, well, I have
It's
chorus
loud,
next to me.
there's the
The
band,
chorus
yeah.
is below the room next to me, my colleague, and I have the band, and
I mean, the other thing you can do is
It's full there.
if it ever really becomes a problem, is you can put in a white noise system
masking
up in the
system.
classroom
Upstairs.
We've done that.
above, so that masks the sound.
Exactly,
Not a bad idea.
So
yes.
that might be a
Well,
good
you can ask them
temporary,
about that. So.
that might be a good temporary
But the
solution.
consultant that are bringing in, we've worked
Well,
with.
a white sound
before,
actually is a
very
permanent,
good. So
really good
Yeah,
they'll give you
they're-
some really good ideas.
Yeah,
Are there steps in that room, if I recall?
Yes, there are
Yes.
risers, that's the problem. Or else Peter,
The
Lucia
head- the
said,
headroom
we could
is the
move them
challenge.
to another area, but the problem is you built all those risers in there. So it's kinda hard to move them out of there. You can never move those risers. They're fastened to the floor and to the
And
walls and everything
steel-
else. Steel reinforced and,
Yeah.
yeah, they're not going anywhere.
okay.
Our engineer overdid it with the railings.
Okay, then just update us at
Sure.
the next meeting.
Yep.
Hopefully we'll have some
How'd the hallway turn out?
resolution,
We never-
Mike hasn't done it yet. It's,
They're
I
doing it
believe
next
it's
week.
Next week.
vacation.
Yeah.
If you want, if it's completed before the next meeting, we could always do another
Take a look,
tour
yeah.
before a meeting, if anyone wants to go over and see how things look. You can decide and let me know. I'll send out a, email asking.
There's a lot of it, I'll check.
Remember to tell Michelle to
If not, they know that.
keep track of that too.
Okay.
But they hate that color.
Okay. Anything else, Courtney, that you wanna,
Yes, there's a, oh, I'm sorry, Courtney.
before we get to the change orders or anything
I
else?
was gonna say, yeah, we do have one,
Oh, whopping change order.
yeah, huge
I
change
see
order
that.
for $114.71.
Probably which probably deserves an explanation of why we're bringing you a change order for $114,
Right.
$115.
Would probably
As you
not
remember,
show-
last
say it.
month, you approved a bunch of bills to a fire alarm subcontractor working on behalf of the town. Some of that work was an extension of replacing the fire alarm panel. But the project never included rewiring all the building and finding all the troubles. But by putting in the new panel, you could have paid the contractor who was on the job, would have been considerably more than what you paid. But we talked about that last month, and you paid the bills. Since then, I said to you at the last meeting, we said, we're gonna sit down with the electrical subcontractor, and we're gonna go back and forth. Some of that they owned. So we did that. The
So we got a
difference is
credit.
$114.71. So it's worth doing because it's your money, and you might as well just do it, so we processed
Right.
it. So that's what this is.
All
about.
right.
So you're saying they only owned, or is it from the damages, or is this something that they owned?
Some of this was damages, but actually not done by the electrical subcontractor, but by the roofing contractor. When he was putting the roofing in, he was drilling through into existing wiring cables and shorting out the system. Well, because that subcontractor did it, the contractor has to have his electrician do it and back charge the roofing contractor. It's a nightmare, I
We
know.
went through each invoice and identified which
We
ones.
were on the
were
phone
contractors.
I was in Florida, she was home.
I would
We were on the
suggest that
phone
we
for
just
like
move on this
4
one.
hours.
because it probably cost our consultants thousands of dollars to go through this.
We
with
did this
them.
one in our free time, I'm telling you.
All right.
All set.
Thank you.
So would anyone care to make a motion to
Thank you,
approve
guys.
$114.71 for change order number 11?
Second.
Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
The good thing is
Opposed? Motion carries.
there are no other outstanding change orders that we are aware of at this time. We have a couple of things we may need to discuss, and if they don't go anywhere with the punch list, then we talk about taking some credits back from them. But since the punch list is so small, I don't think you're gonna have that problem, so I don't think you're gonna see any more change orders on the job, which means the monthly report that's included in here shows that you still got a pretty good deal of money
Okay,
left over.
well, that brings us to one other thing that is not on this agenda that is actually probably under old business, those signs for the classrooms.
Oh, I did email those around, yes.
So
But I didn't
don't we
make a
need to approve that?
Yes, yeah, I'm looking for that, I don't bring a copy. Did you bring- I sent him an email.
I saw the
I attached
email on
them.
it.
Yeah, the school department came forward to me with as you know, as part of the project, we added, you added signs to all the rooms that we touched. But they didn't do signs all over the building. The school department was just asking, what if they called me up and said, do you think we could pay to do all the signs and so they'd match everywhere? And I said, not my call, but you should bring it forward to the building committee chairs and we'll see where it goes. So Mike got a price, emailed it around, and I wish I'd printed out a copy, and I'm sorry I didn't. We emailed it around to everybody to take a look at. I forgot how much the number was, but it included a fair amount of money to have this sign contractor, who he's a sign contractor we all work with. He actually did this both schools. He's got a fair amount of money for installing it. Mike said since they really just get installed with double-faced tape, and they're very, very strong, it's industrial double-faced tape, that Mike would have his guys install it, which
I
saves
have-
about $1,200.
I have the invoice.
Wow.
It was 124 6x6 ADA room signs for $3,125 and 6x8 ADA room signs at that one there were 34 for $1,145. So the total was $5,520, and then if no install, we'll drop off with foam tape. And then there was like a $1,200 fee if we wanted them to hang the signs, and Mike said he would do that. So it's
5520.
yeah, 5520.
So I reviewed it just because we know the numbers from the other jobs. I mean, the numbers are accurate, they're not far off. But it's completely on you. It's up to you guys if you want
That's
to spend the
in
money.
addition to the signs that are on the rooms that you
Yes,
touched.
these are the rooms that.
Are we allowed to
I mean, it
go
does seem-
outside of the area?
on-
Doesn't matter.
I know.
It does seem
I don't know.
odd to have signs on some rooms, but not on,
Well, all the rooms have signs, it's just what Mike is saying is
Right,
they're all
they do have
different.
signs now, they exist
It's
now,
not the same.
they just don't match.
Yeah.
Which is not unusual, you tend to match them all, and I won't say this for sure, but my guess is probably some of the signs you have on the existing are not the ADA style
ADA,
signs.
they don't have the braille on them.
So,
oh,
Yeah, the-
Because that's
They're
why
not
we say
required
And
to
there's a
do
couple
it,
of
but
rooms
they're
that
trying.
don't.
ADA compliance.
But we have
is
had
important.
blind students in
But
the school.
You're not required to do it because you didn't do a full renovation
Right.
upgrade of the building.
Right.
It's up to you in the school department. I don't know if there's any real rules on it or not.
There are rules on
Well, there's
ADA
rules on it that
compliance.
Yes, I mean, I'm
Yes.
spending the
Yeah,
money.
So there's
If you brought
laws.
the building up to code, it would have to have those signs in it
Yes.
with the
We
ADA
didn't do
No,
it.
if
compliance.
somebody, actually, if a student or a person of any age is in there for any reason, whatever it is,
Right.
and they can't find their way, then they can file a formal complaint,
Yeah, I don't know if
and
that's
then,
the case. I
and
don't
then
know.
you would get sued and you'd have to do it.
Yeah.
Plus you'd pay a
Right.
penalty. So it's a good thing, I mean, it's the right thing to do, you know, is to make it accessible, so.
Yeah, it makes sense to me for the reasons.
Seems like short money and,
Jeff just said.
I mean, relatively.
Well, the other thing is, we did disrupt and change a lot of other signs.
We did.
So they really don't work
If you go
together.
down that
The old
back
ones and the
hall-
new ones
right.
just don't look right.
If you go down the back hallway, what I call the back hallway at the science classrooms, for instance,
Right.
some of those have new signs. You can go down that hallway and you have a new sign, an old sign, a new sign, an old sign, go right
Yeah.
down, because those are the rooms we did.
Yeah.
So if you look down that hallway, you can say,
You see
ah,
it,
there's a
it's-
new,
it's
there's an
different,
old.
yeah.
Well, I think
So-
if we do that, then we should also just let the school know that there's a specification for these signs, and if they ever need to get a different sign or a new sign, is to follow the specs, so it's
Right.
not a different one
Right.
again.
Mike, to get these prices, Mike did use a specification that was in the project,
And
so
it's
they
the
have
same,
that.
it's the same
It's the same
vendor.
manufacturer.
Yeah.
So they are gonna look the same.
They're gonna look identical.
Okay.
Now, we talked about doing stuff in other parts of the school that we didn't touch and we couldn't do it. So now we can do it?
I'm not saying you can or can't.
Right.
That's really between you and the town and school department.
That's
Because
really
this
the
is-
call that
because
we're
this is
making.
a town
Reimbursement
money.
issue with that.
You won't be reimbursed for it, it's
Right.
above and beyond, but
Is
that's the MSBA.
That
that's
would
think
come
we
out
did
of
it with
owner's
the-
contingency,
Ethan
where
did
would
it.
this come
Yeah, we
from?
did some other things.
We've been basing a lot of decisions also on safety. And if we have students or like Jeff said, visitors in the school, I mean, it really is a safety thing. You
So
know,
why
with
didn't we
having
plan
that
this at
rail.
the beginning then and?
Yeah. Because
Well, maybe we were
they
aware
weren't
of everything,
required
'cause they
to
didn't- They
either.
didn't look through the whole school,
You
and
weren't
now they
required to
are.
do
We weren't required to, I
It's
mean,
almost
we
like
were
you
trying
don't
to
have
keep
it, you
it
don't
in
know
under
you need
budget.
it. Then when you get it, you're going, oh.
So how much money is left in the, that we haven't used?
$517,000.
So we could use some of that money to take the oil tanks out of the ground then?
I was waiting for that.
Is it a
Boy, I'm
safety
sitting here
issue?
waiting for that.
It will be,
Yeah.
and they'll be fined if they're not taken out.
I know.
It seems like, you know,
Yeah.
that's a different
Yep.
story now.
How much would it cost? Not, about the same money, $5,000 or $6,000?
Well, let's finish up the signs, Pete, but
To take out the tanks?
Yeah.
More than
More than that.
More than that, really?
Oh, yeah.
And if they're leaking, it's gonna be more than that.
Oh,
Yep.
And it
oh,
also
they're
depends on
leaking.
what you find.
Yeah, yeah.
It could be a
follow
smaller
plan.
one.
I think that I wouldn't be prepared to vote on that one right
No.
now, because I
We
think you
can't do
gotta go to
anything.
Mike Farrell.
I think you need to go to
Talk
the school
about it.
committee also where it's school property. I think the
I think it's a
town, the
great thing
selectmen
to
and school
talk
committee
about.
have
Are
to
we
work on
gonna
it.
ask the school committee about each room?
Well, we can ask Pam, she's sitting next to you. I think she could tell you how the school
Should we
committee
take
would
care of the
feel
oil
about that.
tanks?
No, I said you can ask her about the signs.
I was gonna say, it sounds
No.
reasonable to me, I'd
I
like
mean,
some more
I-
information about it.
I think if oil gets into the ground,
Yeah, no,
He's
I
right.
totally
mean, I
agree
think
with
it's
you.
Certainly something that we should talk about.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And get Mike Farrell up
like to
here
have
and-
further
Yeah, have a
discussion,
discussion at the
conversation
But
about
I,
it.
but I
Yes.
think before it
I
gets
think-
here,
I
it
think it's
needs to go
really-
through the
I think
selectmen and
that's a
school
major
committee.
issue, and I think that's
Yeah.
more.
I mean,
That's
I'd like
not
to,
us.
you know, have
I
some-
think it's a major issue.
Yeah.
I think that it's more on on Mike Farrell to talk, and possibly the Board of Selectmen to determine what they want to do with this.
Yeah.
Because I just think it's beyond what we should be voting on right here, right now.
It was part of your charge.
Yeah, I think that, you know, we can't, that's,
It's out of our
I know
scope
that you're
right now.
drawing comparisons, but it's really like apples and oranges in a way. I mean, because that is such a big issue. I think the town needs to look at that, and then if they want to attach that to this project, fine. You know, that's up to them. But that's, you know,
Yeah,
it could
I'd
be a
like
lot of
to know
money.
how-
If you
how
go
does
in
it
there and you
relate to
start
this
digging,
project?
well,
and
they
then
went
you
in,
find
they took them out
contaminated
at
soil.
Pembroke and they took them out at Pearlie, so.
Yeah.
How much was it at Pembroke and Pearlie?
But they had to dig them out anyways, and that's why that's not
all
part of this
school.
project.
Competitive bid
Well,
Right.
you know, they
No,
didn't
he's
come
talking
out-
about the cost.
they
No,
didn't
he's
come out
talking
at
about
Pearlie.
Why did they have to
Yeah.
dig them out anyways?
Well, you have to,
You have to get rid of them.
because it's,
But why don't we have to do that at the high school?
You
It wasn't-
Well,
technically-
Pete's trying to say, we're supposed to,
legally you do, probably.
supposed
I don't
to.
know. You'd have to
Actually,
find out.
I don't know the
I don't
law.
know.
yeah. Pete, it's
So-
been driving him
so-
crazy
Scope
for
of here.
years.
I mean, I think
Yeah.
we should. I think we should probably just notify Mike Farrell of this and let him figure out how to go
Pete-
through it.
On behalf of the building committee, you may do that.
And if
Because
they
if you want to start that conversation with him,
determine
Go
that that's
ahead.
going to come back to this,
You
then
know?
by all
Yes,
means,
yes.
if
you know,
they direct it,
I can't
we'll-
see him
we'll
during the
pass it,
day,
obviously, but
go ahead. You know that conversation needs to be had. You're not getting resistance. It can't come from us.
yeah, I
It needs to
think
be
it's too
started
big
in
of
the
an
right
issue.
place.
What do you?
We don't, no one
Why can't-
disagrees
why
with
can't-
you,
Courtney?
because
Well,
it has nothing to do with this
It
project.
can come from us to
So
tell
these
'em.
rooms that we're putting signs on have nothing to do with the project.
They do. We disrupted the visual presentation these signs had when we went in and changed them.
You know, it could be, I mean, it's not over yet. So I would suggest that, like you're suggesting, if you would represent us and go to Mike to find out about it, and it's determined that Mike, if Mike determines that he thinks and the town thinks that it should be in here, absolutely, bring it back and we'll vote on it. And I think we'll all be for it. If we're being directed by the town to do it, that's fine. I just think it's just too big for us to, I don't know what's involved in it.
And it's outside their
To
scope.
me, that's the issue, is the amount
I
of
mean,
money
they had it done at
involved, really.
Pearlie, so there's gotta be a price out there, a rough idea how much it costs to take it out at Pearlie.
But you know as well as I do that if you're just pulling out tanks, that's one thing. Now, if you're pulling out tanks and all of a sudden you have you discovered that there is oil in the ground, that's a whole other thing. It could be a little spill, dig it up, you're fine. It could be, you know, who knows? It could be going down into the water system and going all over. I have no clue. But it's that kind of an issue that I think has to come from the town, because it's not in our charter to do that. It's not in our, power to do that, because it is really outside and a large outside of the of what we're doing. So I think that the town should direct us on this. If they want us to look into it, fine, we'll look into it.
I mean,
I can't make that
you know,
vote.
I mean, we've
I can't support
stretched
that.
this project. We shouldn't even been, possibly, we shouldn't even have had a high school project. I think the only reason.
Oh, no, the MSBA told us to.
Yeah,
We
they-
had
Yeah,
to.
because someone said, you gotta look at if there are still gonna be overcrowding issues, if we
No.
only move the sixth grade.
That was
Someone wrote a
secondary,
letter to
George.
MSBA and said,
No,
you need to go take,
it was the sped classes that was the primary issue. They were being held
someone wrote a letter to
in classrooms.
MSBA.
Yes.
and then that brought MSBA to do a site walk at the high school.
They came and did the site walk because they weren't convinced that the Pembroke School was as bad as we were stating. That's what generated their site walk. And then when they saw how bad it
It all reflects back to the
was,
overcrowding issue.
yeah. And that students were being taught
But in a good way.
in
Kids
closets.
Kids are being taught in closets, yeah.
But in a good way, that brought us a lot of money to
Right.
the town.
I'm just saying, it's just
Yeah.
by chance, we
Right.
got MSBA to come look at the high school.
But we didn't approve right away going and doing the high school. We actually went through the town to do that too. I mean, we
The
didn't.
town
You did.
voted
You
to
can't do
We had to vote
approve
for
the
it.
renovation.
It's just too
of
big
the
of an
project.
issue.
Right,
But
that's
the
a perfect
question,
example.
my
I'm just
question
saying.
Yeah,
right
George, you're
now
right. That's a
is,
perfect example of where
Yep.
we didn't act as a committee just to go and do it. We actually said, "Wow, this is a big deal. Let's go back to the town and figure out if what we can do with
As
this."
I recall, you had meetings with the school committee first, then as a
Yeah.
group, you all went to the selectmen. And you went to the selectmen, and we made a
Right.
big thing, and as I recall, you even had the MSBA come up and speak in front of the selectmen. It was a huge.
But it wasn't
thing.
initially generated by us, it
It
was
wasn't-
someone
it was-
outside this committee that generated.
Correct. Correct.
I don't wanna
But-
say who.
but, I mean, my question that I'd just like to get some more information about these oil tanks is how do they relate to the project?
They don't, as far as we're concerned, they don't.
They don't.
They've been specifically excluded.
They were never part of the scope of the project, nor ever.
We did not
envisioned
include
to be
them.
part of
And
the
why
project.
were they
But we
specifically
should probably,
excluded?
MSBA won't reimburse.
Well, that wasn't, no, the scope of the project as defined
Right.
by the town, as defined by the MSBA, was
the
the
three-
educational issues related with the sped classrooms and the
Always
overcrowding.
education.
And the water issues and
Correct.
what was the third one?
We had the roof from the
The
water.
NEASC issues.
The NEASC
Yeah.
issues.
Sorry,
That
it's
was
been a
it.
while.
That was the scope that was, that came down from your collaboration with the
Leftover
MSBA.
money to take the
Okay.
tanks out, because you're gonna be paying for them, and where's the money gonna come from?
so we're not disagreeing, but if you would like to start generating conversations that might come before us, go ahead.
Do you know what the laws are with the DEP about underground oil tanks?
There is a duration when they are not used. You have a certain time period, like a grace period before you have to remove them. I don't know that off the top of my head.
Yeah,
How long have they
I
not
think
been
our
used,
highway
you know?
supervisor might know the
How long
answer to
haven't they
that.
been used? Do you know how long they haven't been used?
1996.
Is it 1996?
I don't know. I'm guessing.
Whenever they put the
That's
gas
the
in.
last renovation.
So somewhere around there,
I'm sure they
maybe.
didn't take the oil out.
son who was born in
Whoa.
1996 is going to
Yeah.
be
Really?
20.
Well,
Because they didn't
The one
think
at
there was
Pembroke
much,
was
as much
No,
smaller.
oil
I
in
don't,
Pembroke.
I'm throwing that date out because that was the last.
At least
update.
drain the oil out.
I don't know officially.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna move us on because
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is
Yep.
not on our agenda and it is not our focus tonight.
Okay, so, but back to the point of the signs
The
in the
signs,
school.
correct. We interrupted the visual
This is for you.
displays that these signs make. We did.
So,
No, oh, I need.
do we
one.
need to make a motion to approve?
If someone would like to make a
You don't
motion.
have an amount, do you have an amount?
Yes,
$5,520.
$5,520, I believe.
Correct.
Is there anything else that we have to spend money on from now till the end of this job that, you know, we're not gonna be short?
We're not gonna be short. Chuck
Like I
just
said,
said that
we're
we're.
$516,000 under bid budget. Little over
We got 100,000 in owners and 413 and,
Correct.
Yeah.
under bid.
Okay, well then I would like to make a motion, please, to approve, the purchase of ADA compliant signs for the rooms in the school not touched by the project, to bring them, into consistent presentation with the new signs.
Okay.
For $5,000, how much, how many?
$520.
$520.
Okay, would anyone care a second?
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
Motion carries. Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Then would anyone care make a motion to adjourn the Georgetown
About
Middle?
the high school, I gotta, the plan for the gymnasium lighting, it shows on the plan that it's supposed to have 7 lights across, and it only has 6.
From memory,
They did.
I'm
shift some.
recalling that when they shifted everything over, it realized that they didn't fit.
The ductwork.
The 7th
I think it
didn't
might be the
fit.
ductwork.
There was a conflict, as I'm recalling. I'm doing this sheerly from memory. I'll check with Larry, who was up there, and I'll check with him and
Well,
find out
if
exactly.
if that's the case, that's fine, but it seems like where the lights are now,
Yep.
that it seems like there's more light where the stands are than there are on the court, like the far side of the court
Okay.
where the kids sit. So if they were gonna not have 7, maybe they should have made the lights more uniform throughout the, you know, from sidewall to sidewall, so that there would be more light on the court, or, you know, if there was gonna be a place that there was gonna be less light, it would be in the stands.
Okay. I don't remember, Peter. I will find out.
Well, and to go along with that, obviously, when the stands aren't used, and that court's used to the full length too, because of the side-to-side courts that they have, just have them check that too.
Okay.
Both directions.
Yeah.
Well, there's definitely plenty of light on the stand side. It's where the players sit, there's not as much light. And it seems like that light is further away from the wall compared to the light that's by the stands.
Oh, is
It's
it?
probably 2 feet off the wall.
Maybe center.
Oh,
And this one might be 4 or 5 feet, and it doesn't seem to light up that whole area.
Actually,
Okay.
We'll check.
Yep.
Okay, anything else? Okay, would anyone care make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good evening and welcome to the School Building Committee Pembroke Project. Oh, go tell her to put us back on if you wouldn't mind. She must not realize.
Oh, here we
there
are,
we
we're
go.
back.
Good evening and welcome to the School Building Committee Pembroke Project, Tuesday, April 12th, 2016. I'd like to approve the minutes of March 8th, 2016.
So moved.
Does anyone have any discussion? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, the invoices are in the amount of $102,213.15. Chuck, is there anything we need to know about these?
Now, the only thing that's on here that's an interesting one is the one that's Stolfus Structures. These are the actual framers, the people that put the shed together. Mike lost their bill and he sent it to me late. It's been out there since October. So they've been calling and they're very nice people. It's a nice family that works for the shed manufacturer almost exclusively. And they said, hey, just not for nothing, I don't think we ever get paid. He goes, oh, geez. So he sent me the invoice. I checked with town accounting, And, no, it had never been paid, so that's
Okay.
why it's in there. I would have remembered that name forever, so.
Yeah, that's
How could
very
you forget that name?
interesting.
But I checked, no, but
Old
the
food.
rest of it's fine.
All right.
The only thing on there from DRA is you previously approved the PSS 12 for lead certification. This is the submittal of this is the bill from DRA for the actual cost of submitting the project to lead for US Green Building Council. That's all this is.
Okay.
Okay.
Nothing new. And Brait's is 75,511, which still leaves us almost $300,000 in retainage, and we're holding that amount of money, which seems like a lot. The building's done. We're gonna, as a matter of fact, next week, we're doing a 10-month, believe it or not, since you accepted the building, it's been 10 months. We're doing a 10-month walk around with all the trades, including the commissioning agents and the engineers and everybody next month. But why are we still holding $300,000? For all the site work, which
Right.
we'll get to later.
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, Chuck, any other construction progress updates you would like to share?
No, but on the old business, if I'll hit that first with the elevator issues and
Oh,
the warranty.
sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, as you probably are aware, there was a elevator inspection done. Mike's required to have them done. This was not a call him up and see what's wrong. This was a required inspection. He was having the rest of his elevators inspected, and he did this one too. The elevator inspector identified 3, 4, 5,
Nine fails.
6, 7, 8, 9 things that he considered had failed. That doesn't mean, when they write these things, they say fail. My understanding in talking to the elevator safety board in previous, this does not mean the elevator failed. It means certain things within the elevator, and as it was explained to us as we sat in the meeting, there are probably 100,000 moving parts and electronics in an elevator. The elevators work, the elevator's safe. If it was not safe, he would have pulled the certificate. He did not. He identified some failures of some issues in the building. My understanding are none of them are significant safety issues. Again, if they were, he would have pulled the certificate on the elevator. He didn't. This elevator is under warranty still, as you know, and your warranty was extended by the elevator manufacturer and the elevator installer. So it's still under warranty. I had hoped, since they had done this inspection on April 4th, I had hoped by now that I would have heard or seen that the elevator installer has been there, or repair guy has been there. He has not, as of 6:45 when I sat here and was trying to get a hold of the Braits and said, I need to know what's going on.
He gave us his card and said,
He did.
call anytime.
So Mike did. Mike has called them. Mike has gone through the process and put in for a service call. I had hoped that they would have responded very quickly on a service call, knowing that the issues with the elevator and how you all felt about it. I haven't heard yet. We're going to help Mike and start calling them tomorrow as well. So we came up today to see if they had been there. They hadn't. Mike said he hadn't heard if they were there. He was going to check with the school staff to see if they had been there, and he didn't know. I'd find that hard to believe, as Mike's in that building 100 times a day. He would have known. So as of we sit here right now, the elevator's fine. It's working. You have a certificate, a legal certificate, but we want to find out about these
When
7
did he
and 8
call them?
issues. This inspection was done on the 4th. We didn't all get it until, I want to say, 3 or 4 days later. So it's about a week now.
He called them a week ago?
I think so.
I
I'll
have his
verify.
card right in my kitchen,
Yeah.
hanging.
We'll call him tomorrow.
Do you want me to call him
No,
also?
we'll follow up. That's us.
Would you
That's our
tell
job
him?
to help Mike.
Would you tell him you heard from me that I found his card?
But no, I will.
That'll be the next step, Ellen.
We will
Yeah.
help Mike tomorrow. I'll make some phone calls.
He handed me his card and he said, you call me, I'll be up immediately. It's been a week.
So I'll let you know tomorrow if I don't hear, and then you can call him too. I don't mind. It's just, everybody should call him. It's just
No, we
crazy.
extended the warranty.
Yes.
Yeah.
They did extend
They
I
that.
sent
find it
us the
hard to
warranty
believe that
documents.
the elevator companies come out there with all our concerns and said, oh, there's nothing wrong with it. And the inspector goes out and he finds, how many? 9?
Yeah, I think it was 7 or 9.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Right, we specifically asked at that meeting that the manufacturer come out and take a look at it themselves and write us a letter and say that everything looks good, and we haven't received that letter yet, so.
But we did receive the extended warranty, and we
Correct.
did receive the proposal for additional service contract that Mike is reviewing, and he's gonna get back to us. He
What
has
is it?
service contracts on all the other
Right.
elevators anyhow. He doesn't have one
Yeah.
on this one, so he was looking for a service contract anyhow. So Mike's evaluating against the other service contracts he has to see if
And-
this
So
one
what
makes
does the
sense.
warranty
each-
extend to?
Everything.
2017?
What's that?
How far is the warranty extend?
Well,
Well,
we
we
had
took the
out-
building in June, officially in June, substantial completion. And
I
you
think
had a
we
year.
extended, well, we had a year, but we had it during the submittal phase, extended another 4 years.
Correct.
And then I believe after this happened, they extended another year after that,
So it's for 5 years from June.
And then they
Last
have a
year.
maintenance, based on the specifications, they have a maintenance contract for a year, which they need to start doing.
Correct.
So,
So they haven't done the maintenance contract,
They have been in to do various maintenance things and various callback things. They've been in.
the
they have-
callbacks of the issues that we've had with the elevator?
They've been in for those,
Right.
but they've also been in to do punch list work and other maintenance items as well. They have been here. They have been somewhat responsive. I just haven't had a phone call in a week, and that bothers me a
Yeah,
little, so we're
that's-
gonna
Bothers
start,
me a
we're gonna
lot.
start drilling them. But again, it's safe, it's working. As a matter of fact, I was in it today, so.
Will you just let me know when you've
I will.
spoken to them?
I'll shoot you a note tomorrow morning.
Okay. All right, let's see. Courtney, how's the punch list going?
I did bring the punch list with me today. We will be doing another walkthrough on the 22nd, which is the end of the April vacation week, and we are hoping to close everything out. We spoke with Mike Bright today. There's a couple items that they're working on resolution with a couple of the subs, but he felt fairly confident that out of the 5 to 6 pages of items that we have here, between all the trades, that they were gonna be able to knock out a lot of them next week, almost all of them.
We sat with him and went through the list, line item by line item more or less, and identified all the subs. And he committed to us that he will likely have all the subs that need to be there will be there next week, which if they do that, and they follow up what they're doing, we'll be in really good shape
Yeah.
on that.
Have you
punch
checked
list.
in the main office to make sure teachers haven't reported anything
Yes.
that hasn't gotten back to you?
I asked that today while I was
Okay.
waiting for the meeting to start, and they said, I had taken the book, the sheets out of the book. We
Yeah.
leave a book up front. I had to taken the sheets and I compared them to what was still in the book. There are only two or three items, and Mike said, don't worry about those. Those are above and beyond. So
Okay.
I didn't see anything new. But if they
That's
are,
good.
it's not
Yeah.
a problem. We still have the time. We have the contractor until June of this year on the building proper, as it said, so.
When does the outside work start?
Oh, we had that meeting today, and we've been talking about it all week. They are mobilizing, they've been on site because they dug for the transformer for the shed or the garage. They're mobilizing next week to remove the soil identified for the poor grass areas around the building itself, all the way around, as you see all the grass that never came up. They're removing all of that soil and replacing it next week.
What are they gonna do with that soil?
Is it full of
It's
rocks?
theirs, they
Yeah,
own
they
it, they're
own
taking
it.
it with them.
Is it
Well,
full?
could they put it in that area that we filled in?
They can do whatever you want with it.
No, I mean, is it safe to leave there?
We wouldn't suggest it for a play area.
Yeah, you
Well,
can't.
it's not gonna be a player, it's just, right now, they're talking about planting trees and just letting it go natural.
There are
But
Where do
trees
you
in
want
there
it,
already.
Pete?
Where they filled in, where they cut down the
Oh.
trees,
In the back area?
yeah.
Yeah, behind the dumpsters.
But why,
I thought there
why
was
do you
topsoil
want
going
more
on
there?
that.
There's no
Right, yeah.
loam there.
Nope.
Oh.
It's all gravel, so what's gonna grow?
Yeah, why don't they?
You
I
know,
mean,
put some loam there and
Better
then,
for them, they don't have to
and
truck
then you
it
could
out.
We can
throw-
ask him to do that, and well, first of all, I wanna check with Steve at Conscom, make sure he's okay with it.
Right.
and then at least you could get something that's gonna grow, you know,
Well,
besides
I don't
just
know about
weeds.
that, cause grass wouldn't grow on
Yeah,
here,
this is
so.
pretty,
It's
pretty
growing,
nasty
but
soil.
it's
there's a
Better than
lot
gravel.
of
Yeah.
pebbles.
We'll ask that question, I'll ask that
Yeah.
quick question tomorrow. That's okay.
Yeah,
Well, I
but
wouldn't
no
ask it as a
cost.
question. Tell
there's no
them
cost
we
anyhow.
said if they would
None of this
like.
is on us.
No,
They
and then,
can
but,
drop it.
but if they have to put it over there,
They'll love it, cause
They'll
they don't
love
have to
it.
truck,
Yeah.
they
I just
don't
wanna
have to
make sure.
truck
It's
it off.
less work.
Yeah.
it's less work for them.
Not much work,
Yeah.
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 Tell them as long as they just groom it up.
Yeah,
Yeah, which they have to do, we talked about that today, they were required to have done some work on that fill area anyhow, because it's what we call windrows, the wind came, blew and blew it all up. It wasn't smooth enough to put, they're supposed to put almost like a meadow grass seed on there anyhow.
Right.
He couldn't have done it on the gravel and the way it's spread there, so they were gonna have to do some top dressing anyhow. Maybe this helps save everybody in the long run. But again, this is no cost to you, this is on them.
Yeah.
And they admitted to that, they have no problems with that.
Okay.
So, we're
But,
going to start
but
moving
we
it next
won't
week.
want kids playing on it then,
Oh, I don't think
because
the place
it's,
was ever
it's
designed
not
for
good
that.
No,
stuff.
it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not at all.
Well, there's no
It-
fencing around.
But it's
Yeah,
not
I-
bad, it's not
There's,
bad
No.
for people.
No,
No.
It's
No,
just-
but they
It's just
it
not
had
gonna
a
grow
lot of
grass.
Can't grow
stones
very
and,
It was
right.
never approved for loam use.
Right, it was
right.
That's all.
classified as like a
sandy-
loamy sand and a loamy gravel.
if there's extra loam around, is there any chance that it could be used to grade the area around the entry sign? I would
That
just.
they own,
They own some top dressing. down
some
there,
top
yeah.
dressing over there, some seating, and I drove by it today, and there's actually tulips planted there, and I don't know if that was
plastic
recent.
ones. They're fake.
I don't know, but it just, it
I didn't
hasn't
wanna-
been graded or
We
anything.
were gonna
and
tell them to
and
do some work
I
there,
know
but I
loan would
didn't wanna
cost money,
offend
but
some
if we have
people.
extra loans.
You know,
Some of
those
that might
might
not be our
have
land.
been from last year. Those
They're
might be
right
bulbs
next
that
to
came
They're
up.
right next to the sign itself,
Well,
so
But
They
isn't
owe-
that, is
they
that
did
what
owe
the
us some work there anyhow.
They have to do the
They're
work.
bringing in new loam to
we'd rather
redo
put
the
the
areas
new
we've just
stuff.
been talking about. There's
Think
no
about
reason they
tulips
couldn't
is
put
what'll
some
come up
there.
next
We'll,
year.
we'll make sure.
Could
it
you
gets
just
done.
ask them about that?
No,
'Cause
I'll
it
just make
kinda
sure
is-
it's done. It'll be fine.
Okay, thank you.
It'll be fine.
They'll be
Excellent,
fine.
thank you.
I'm not sure we own all that land around the sign.
You
We
own
do.
right up to the sign at about 3 feet.
yeah, not far past that.
I guess it's north, maybe it's east on Elm.
Just to like
It's- you
even
own
it out,
3
because
feet past
it's
it.
all
That's it.
lumpy.
Yeah.
Then there's a dirt driveway,
It's
gravel
lumpy.
driveway.
Yeah.
Other people
You
own
don't
that.
touch,
Yeah.
we never crossed over.
No.
Yeah, that's
Doug sent me
north,
some
yeah.
language to take care of that.
Yeah, we'll take care of that.
Okay, so and this is something that Pete brought up about that
Yes.
issue with all the stones flying
Doug
around.
Morse from Warner Larson was up last week, when we all met up there last week, and he reviewed it, and I don't think he's had a chance to respond
the
back
issue?
to Courtney.
When you go around the bus loop,
Yeah.
and you're next to the new field where the old school was,
Yeah.
they put
Oh,
a
yeah, yeah, yeah.
small
I remember
section of
that.
stone.
Gravel
Yeah.
strips.
But it is higher in the
Yeah.
back, and the water could flow down into a catch basin or something down that way.
Yeah.
Cause it's a mess. I mean,
Yep.
you should see the stones.
It is
out
a
there.
mess. I saw it.
If you
After you
walk
said
over
it,
there,
I
it's
went up
all
and
over
looked.
the
Yeah,
sidewalk.
and,
Yeah,
and then if you
the
look
elevator
at where
grass.
the players would sit on the
Yeah.
bench,
Yeah.
if there was a curb and then the sidewalk was higher, it wouldn't come down as far.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we-
who knows where we're
It,
gonna get the money to fix that.
I would
as soon
think
as you
if you-
said it, I went up and looked. I couldn't believe what a mess
Doug's-
it was.
We talked about it with Doug last week.
I think if
he
you
and
lower
Courtney
the
talked
amount
about
of
it.
stone
He
a
has
couple
a-
inches.
He has a way to, he's gonna
Yeah,
figure
I
it
think
out.
we need to
He's
put
gotta
a
figure it out.
curb would be
He
the
knows
best.
that.
Yeah, it can't be like
We're gonna
that.
get
If
some
there was a
spot.
curb, it would
Mhm.
fix a lot of problems.
Yeah.
I would either
You
that
know,
or-
look at the fence. It got to be a gap in the fence by this much
how
at
about
the
trench-
bottom.
How about trench grading?
Well,
Doug
He was saying
Morse,
that they
the
haven't
landscape
figured it out,
architect's
so-
gonna
They'll
come up.
figure it out.
Yeah.
He's gonna give us some more recommendations. We're gonna go
Yeah.
forward from there.
Okay.
so,
I'm
and
sorry, who is that?
Doug Morse, he's the landscape architect.
Okay.
Works for Courtney.
Warner
And-
Larson.
Looks like there's a
Okay.
gouge in the sidewalk.
And when are you gonna meet with him?
We did last week.
We
Oh, you
did.
did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Audio system, the
Yeah.
sound system, local sound system in the cafeteria.
Next week.
Yeah, we have been
Oh,
through it
yeah.
a handful of times.
Yeah.
I
Didn't West
won't
send
get
you
into
them?
the over technical part of it, but there are 3 local sound systems, they're called. When a room has its own sound system, it's called a local sound system.
Yeah.
There are 3 of them in close proximity to each other. One's in the gym, one's in the cafeteria, one's in the music room.
And the band.
In the band room, I guess there's 4. They're all supposed to be on separate frequencies. We think there may be an issue with the frequencies cross-talking amongst each other, which why you would get feedback everywhere. We tried to test it while we were up here, and there were kids in the building, there were classes going on, so they couldn't do it all. The electrician had his own guy here. He went in there, and he knew just enough about it to take a look at it. He thinks that's the problem too. But he wasn't going to start changing all the settings because then you start blowing it all out to everybody. The manufacturer will be here with his people next week.
Great.
Okay.
Wonderful.
And we're going to be here the day he's there, and I'm going to walk through and I'm going to try to make that thing give every bit of feedback you could ever imagine so that, because you own it, it should
Thank
be
you.
right.
Yeah.
so we don't have to give
Yes,
him
yes.
feedback.
And they
You
own.
don't, no,
They should sound
you, I get the
new,
feedback,
not
trust me.
20 years old.
I've been getting the calls.
They own providing documentation on the
Yes.
settings, and we spoke with 3SI, the designer, on
Yes.
it today, and they said the easiest way to provide that documentation is take a picture of the
Yes.
settings and post it next to the actual
Put it right
local
on the wall.
sound system. So
Well,
that,
then that's exactly what they should do.
And they're
Right,
going to
right,
next
that's
week.
what they're gonna do.
The people that are coming up from the manufacturer, we've actually worked with before, they're very good. They just hadn't been called in early enough, so they're here now.
Okay.
So next week, we hope that'll be all done.
That would be great. I think a lot of people
Yes.
would
We
be.
tried everything we could to make
grateful.
it do it, but man,
Yes.
it was making so much noise. The kids were waiting for the bus, and I'm thinking, no, we're gonna really upset somebody, so let's just drop it for
All
now.
right.
But I mean, at the spelling
But it's all
bee, it
wireless
was
mics.
really-
That's what the
yeah.
wireless mics are
Yeah.
cross-talking each other.
Okay. Anything else you want to?
No
Yep.
change orders?
No?
Nope. Not
I'm
at this
looking
point.
for them. Are you sure?
There are none.
Okay.
At this point, there are none. There's still we're working on a negotiated credit to get you back some money for all this additional loam that's been rejected and installed. We had to test it every single time it came in. and you had to do the environmental testing for the arsenic, as well as the testing to meet the requirements of DRA.
Right.
You racked up a fair amount of bills on those, and we told Braid at the end of the job, we're gonna go through and plus and minus them all, work it out, and we're gonna get a credit back on some of those.
Yep.
I don't know what the number is yet, but I'm still working on it.
We just like the word credit.
It's not a lot. I'm warning
gonna
you
be
right
better
now.
than
It's a
nothing.
couple of $1,000 at best, but we're gonna get it back because we
But
told them
maybe
we
it'll
wanted it.
pay for the curb.
Maybe it'll do something like that. We'll see.
Okay, how about the fields now?
They have been in. They started as soon as it was. I think it was like the third week of March when it got really, really warm that week. They came running out here because that's that day.
Yeah,
that was a couple.
really. I don't
They
recall
came
that,
out
but
and they
okay.
put down a spring treatment on the existing on the lawns on the fields. Excuse me, the fields. They put an existing treatment on there. They did some touch-up work. They did some other stuff. There's a maintenance schedule that's been reviewed with Warner Larson, again, a landscape architect. They know what they have to do. They'll be back to start to work on that. My guess is probably next week. All the lawn care guys are really getting out there. They're planning to go next week. It would be their big push because it's gonna warm up into the 70s on this weekend, so.
Supposed to be 80 on Monday.
Yeah, so they're all gonna, I mean, everywhere you look, there will be lawn guys out doing treatments on that, and we're gonna work
Not
on
gonna
it.
change the grading, are they?
Nope, there's nothing to do but treat the grass and get the grass to grow stronger. Remember,
There's-
this is only the beginning of your second growing season.
There's some small,
So-
there's a little bit of fine grading at the new
Little
soccer
bit.
field, but
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
the
the
soccer
fences.
field hasn't even been seeded yet.
Yeah.
Because it's not been fully raked out, everything done. But
Right.
they're gonna start working on that next week as soon as we get the transformer set and the power to the irrigation system. So that's not even been run yet on the soccer fields, but it has been run on the baseball fields.
Am I gonna be okay
And-
with the location?
Yeah,
The
it's there
dugout?
now if you wanna see the,
Okay.
the platform for
So
the
it only
transformer set.
moved over?
it moved 10 feet from where we was
Okay.
previously.
And it's
And
there
then-
now on the ground. It's
and
only a
when-
5x5 pad.
When is it expected that we should be able to use the soccer field?
2 growing seasons,
least.
Two growing?
minimum.
So you'll be,
So this fall?
this spring will be seeded, this fall will be your second growing season, it'll be next spring, a year from now.
But the baseball fields could be this fall.
Could be,
could
if
be.
they,
Next
if
summer.
everything grows the way it
Next summer or
should.
next spring?
It-
Just next summer?
Next spring would be the earliest, I think,
Yeah,
what
that would
Warner
be,
will tell
if
you.
you wait
Would
till
be
next
the
summer,
abs-
it's better, but
Yes,
it's always better to wait a little bit longer, but you could potentially use them in the
Do we have
spring.
irrigation on that field?
yes.
Yeah.
How often do they have to fertilize? Like, how many fertilizations do they have to do on the fields they're putting in?
It's funny you
They,
should say
they
that.
own a certain stand of grass,
Oh, it's in
so
the other
it's
book.
all about the maintenance that they do. So there's certain specifications that require certain products, but we don't say you have to do it every 3 weeks or that, anything like that.
And they own it for so many cuts?
I'd have to go
Yes,
check the cuts on
yes.
it,
I think it's 3, but we'll
Yeah.
verify that.
double check that.
They just sent in their maintenance plan for those fields and the other fields into Warner Larson to review and send back. And the stuff that we saw is pretty standard and pretty clear what they have to do, the responsibilities. We just need Warner Larson to tell them, yeah, that's good, that meets the spec, and that does not. We'll get that before.
Are they
it's
gonna
done.
give a maintenance plan of what we're supposed to do on
Yes.
our own?
Yes,
So,
they're required to
Right,
give
and-
that as well.
And we actually highlighted locations where the grasses are designed to be mowed versus not mowed and that kind of thing to Carol, so that they know that there's certain seed types that are in certain areas that are designed to grow a little bit more.
The
Make 'em
banks
look
along
more
the drive
natural.
are not to be
Yeah.
mowed, those steep
Right.
banks are not to be mowed, they grow wild, the design intent. They wanna cut
They
them,
can
they can
choose
cut
what,
them.
they can choose what.
But they're not supposed to be cut. Or not, they're designed to be cut, but you could if you wanted to. They're gonna grow tall grasses.
Is there any, have you seen any signs of bad erosion around the whole school as far as banks?
Just down the access road, the bus access road, and if you were to walk down alongside the new
Phase two
field from where the
identifies what
garage
they
was put
plan
in,
to do.
and you were
Yeah,
walk
first
down to
one.
the lower field, which is the leach, there is an area where the water just comes right down the sidewalk and is eroding down as the sidewalk takes a turn. The water wants to follow the sidewalk, but it doesn't because it's been eroded off, so it's
Oh,
getting
yeah,
into the
yeah.
lawn area.
I've seen some
That
channels.
needs to be top dressed and probably beefed up some so that the water channels down. That'll be part of the work they're gonna do this fall,
okay.
this spring, excuse me.
Spring.
Yeah, there's just the only two, Pat and I walked it all today looking for exactly that. Those are the only two
The
areas we
parking lot
saw.
circle, the banks, looks like the grass is
Oh, they're
holding the
nice.
banks.
Yeah, as you're coming up the access drive, I mean, you're coming up the
That's
road,
nice.
up on those banks on both sides in the woods, and then you make the turn past the access drive. All of that came in really nice.
Out in the woods behind the school, has the trails that we cut through to build the school been connected through?
They're
in any way?
using them.
No.
What?
We haven't.
Your team is running in them. They're
Well,
running.
yeah,
them.
Are
they,
they- are they
I don't
making-
think they go
they
through
made
that
new
area,
paths?
do they?
Oh, yeah,
I'm
they run
coming
all the way
down
through
from
there.
East Street down to the school.
Yeah.
Oh, is that right? There are trails. you
There's a
can
trail
walk
that
it?
goes
Oh, yeah.
down.
And the signs that you talked about with the hunting,
Yes.
those are posted. They've been up there for a
Okay.
while.
There's still like 7 or 8 acres of undeveloped land
Yeah.
the school still owns.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we do see people up there once in a while.
Now, is that 7 or 8 acres back on the Georgetown Raleigh State
Yeah,
Forest?
stacks up this way.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, are you thinking about putting the high school up there?
Thinking about trade.
I see the wheels turning.
Trading.
That's all we had. That's all we
All
had.
right.
All in all, I mean, I know it sounds like it's been a drag and dragging down. It's been closing out as best as you can see some of these jobs close out. We've had some that takes just years to close out. These are tend to closing out. These seem to be closing out pretty nicely so far. We're anxious to get the lawn work started, but I think we're in the right place. It's, again, next week warming up and it being school vacation week. I think if you drive up, you see a lot of activity.
Yeah. Pat and Chuck have been doing a good job of motivating them to get started early.
Yeah, I've noticed the
Pat
emails. He
Is
has.
this
So
like
I-
guys busy, not up there, but busy at another project?
No, not as, no.
That's a good thing for us then.
Yeah, I mean, they're a real South Shore firm. They're based out of Providence area, so they're very busy down there. They're working on Johnson Wells, so they're down there.
Okay.
So I just wanted to ask about the lighting in the parking lot at the Pembroke. Is there any way you could look into whether we have the correct bulbs there or not? 'Cause
We're gonna
they're
check what
very
you
bright.
mentioned about
We're
the
gonna
3,
check.
4, 5 and make sure that the proper one was installed.
Yes.
We'll ask Ostro, the electric company, and make sure that the correct one per specification was installed.
Is there an issue with it being too bright, or?
Yes.
Is
yeah.
is there a way that we could, shut off some lights at night? Not, like I'm saying, after 11 o'clock, you shut off
Well, they,
12 of the lights.
you could conceivably, if
You
it's
can
up to you and the
program
police
it.
department, you shut them all off if you want.
Yeah.
That's between school department and police department.
Mike wasn't
We've
able
seen
to
that
for a
done.
while because there was a piece that was broken.
That's
No, I
all
know,
set.
And
but
that's what I've been asking if it came in.
And I'm
Yeah.
not saying shut off all the lights, but I'm
Yeah.
saying, keep
Can
the
they
ones that you
re-
need.
yeah.
And then, the ones closer to the school and maybe the furthest parking
Yeah.
lots, you shut off the lights.
You can, Mike.
And there's still street lights up there.
Yeah,
The building is supposed to have that, the project is supposed to have that capability to program it. Mike knows how to program it, but there's a nuance in how you program it. I won't get into the technical
Yep.
things. Mike was looking for a little piece of paper from the electrician, who I know, and I saw him today on the job site. He, project manager.
He
of the
promised
electrician.
to send
I
it.
saw him today, and I grabbed him by the neck. I said, "You promised me to do this. I'll do it today." I got an email on it. I got it today. So Mike's got the pieces he needs. He's going to be able to do what he's got to do now. But yes, he could conceivably program that to shut off at 11 o'clock if you want to. Shut them down and let it be dark as you
Well,
want.
yeah,
That's
I-
between
I'm
you and the
not
police
nec-
department, whatever you
right,
want.
you have to go with the
Right.
police
No, I just,
departments to
The
see.
They
lights
expressed
themselves are
interest in
so
having it
bright,
on
they're
all
just
night?
hurting our.
Yes,
Oh, they have?
at one
Well,
time.
They damage the eye.
The only
Not
issue,
all,
But
not
some.
all, but some.
the only issue, Jim, was the discussion when the cameras went in. To
Oh,
make sure that, some of these are low light cameras and don't need a lot of light.
yeah,
Some of them are not. So the issue was to be able to capture the recordings,
okay.
you needed some with light. But
Right,
that's
well, no, you
again,
definitely want enough.
But again, you
light.
don't need it
Just-
all.
You don't need it all.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, but
And
apparently.
the electrical bills are a lot higher than
Yeah.
they were.
Well,
But,
everything's
but,
gonna
but
be
it
a lot
was an
higher.
issue
So
with
this is
Mike
gonna
trying
be
to
the
get it organized
School committee
too.
and the police department and
public
Mike
safety.
Right.
figuring it
you have
all
a-
out.
you have
Right,
a
no, I
safe-
just
They'll
wanted to
figure it
make
out.
sure we have the
Absolutely.
right bulbs in
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
because it,
From what I
We'll
understand,
check
you
on
do,
them.
but we'll verify.
okay, thank you. And
Alright,
you'll
anything
let
else?
us know what's gonna happen with that,
tree.
telephone pole that's not quite straight?
I've
when you
gone as
find
much
out-
as I can. I don't know. That's, maybe somebody
hear
wants to talk
about
to,
that.
somebody wants to talk to Georgetown Light.
Which-
I gotta talk to
I don't
Mike,
think
the light
they can do
department.
anything else with it. I don't know.
Right, but it
I-
would be interesting to
they
know,
looked at it
because if
today.
they've looked at it, right.
I have a
then-
call into the light department to Dave and to Kyle today, because we want to have them up at a meeting on Thursday. While he's there, while they're up in the meeting at Thursday at noon, I will point to that pole and say, can you tell me what you can do about it? If they say, Chuck, there's nothing I can do about it, I'll let everybody know.
Then we know that. Okay.
But we have a meeting, hopefully we can get them to a meeting, we're trying to get them to a meeting on Thursday noon.
Right.
To look at an issue with the transformer and the power to the,
Okay,
that's all.
very good. Thank you.
Right.
Anything else?
Anything else? Okay. Would anyone can make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. See you all
Thank you
next
all.
meeting, May
Go eat.
10th.
By the way, thank
Did
you.
you keep a copy of Brady's?
How was your
Yes.
meeting?